Playing against Winter Moon. Won a coin flip. I don't have a deck list posted for this. I really need to post my Hex deck list on a site. This hand is an auto mulligan, 6 shards and a combat training, no threats. This hand is lacking wild, but we only have 8 wild cards in the deck, and we have a Quash Ridge Tusker in one, and this card is just so obnoxious. If you've never seen this card in Hex before in an aggressive deck, it's so good. So there's Rage 1, so every time you attack with this card, it permanently gains a point of power, and then when it attacks, it gives another troop we control a power boost equal to its power. So basically, it like attacks for 2 more every single turn. Ian, actually, all the deck lists get posted on Hex Meta now. It's great. It's not just the... Once upon a time, they were only posting the 5X decks, but now they post all of them. So this is one of our other... So we have 4 Wild Growths and 4 Gas Trolls in the main deck. And Gas Troll's a really sweet card. It's a 1-1 with Crush that whenever you play any Ruby card, it gets 1-1 permanently. Unfortunately, if we had a Wild Shard this turn, we could go Gas Troll into Ember Tongue Skarn. But I am just going to go ahead and put this Skarn on the table so we have a second troop to start attacking with the Quash Ridge Tusker here. Opponent mulliganed to 6 and kept a 1-sharder, so their awkward hand seems much worse than our awkward hand. I'm going to go ahead and attack here. So Quash Ridge Tusker is going to go up to 2 points of power, and he's going to boost that power onto our Ember Tongue Skarn here. Now the question is, so Ember Tongue Skarn gets +1 power permanently every time we play an action. I kind of want to just cast this burn, so that way we put more pressure on our opponent. It'll do 2 damage to their dome, and then this permanently becomes 1 base power. So we'll crack them for 5 here and just kind of try and close this game out before our opponent can recover from their stumbling. A worst case scenario here is our opponent plays a second Wild Shard and then plays Carnosaurus. He played the Howling, he could have the card, he played the Coyotal Shard, which means he could have Howling Brave here. Hex is not expensive to play compared to Magic. That being said, Magic's ridiculously expensive. The tiered decks in Hex cost anywhere from $50 to about $200 to play. There's a pretty wide variety of things you can pick in that price range. There's like 5 or 6 different decks that are all reasonable tier 1, tier 2 decks, and you build for under 100 USD. Hex you can also play completely for free, though. There's a PvE component that you can get into and just grind into cards, similar to Hearthstone style thing. Alright, opponent concedes there. He stumbled a little bit. Our aggressive deck punished him for stumbling. So, opponent's playing what's usually a more controlling deck. I'm not sure exactly what I want to do here. As you can see, when I sort my deck by cost, it's just like mostly 1-drops and then a couple of 2s and 3s. I think I want copies of Emberspire Witch, because this card says opposing champions can't gain life, and usually they have a couple of things that gain life in their deck. But I'm not sure if I just want to board that in the dark. I might just want to hit submit, in all honesty, and just wait and see more cards out of our opponent's deck. They didn't actually play any cards that game. That's very fair, Booty Shorts. Like, you know, some people just don't want to try something else. If you're interested in giving Hex a try and you're not 100% sure of what's going on, I try to explain how the cards work a little bit. Hex cards are tradable, so unlike Hearthstone, this is a full TCG, so you have a full trading card game experience. So your collections build value and hold value. You can sell cards for cash and on the auction house for the in-game currency, etc. So we've got a pretty reasonable hand here. This card's really sweet. It's an action that gives one of our troops permanently +1 power. And then whenever that troop deals damage to our opponent, it returns all copies of this combat training card from our discard pile to our hand. Yeah, definitely. But I mean, to be fair, let's be honest here. Every trading card game feels like it's just ripping off Magic to an extent. The constructed games are best 2 out of 3. So we are in game 2 here right now, and we are up a game against our opponent. So we just drew a Gas Troll here, so we're going to lead out. We're going to lead out on him. And then Gas Troll gains 1 power and 1 toughness permanently every time we play a Ruby card. So when I play this Killing Skarn, my Gas Troll becomes a 2-2. And it will stay a 2-2. That's one of the things that took me the most time getting used to in Hex versus Magic, is that a lot of these modifiers are permanent. Some of them are temporary, like Killing Skarn here gets 1-1 until end of turn whenever we play an action, but Gas Troll keeps his bonuses. Cyclone Shaper. Actions in your hand have -1 cost. Sure. So this makes all of the action in his hand cost 1 less. So if he has another copy of this card, Transmogrify, which makes transforms a troop into something else, that could be bad for us. But I'm just going to go ahead and go in on my combat trainings here. So when I cast an action, my Killing Skarn gets 1-1 and my Gas Troll gets 1-1 because it's a Ruby action. And then combat training resolves and Gas Troll gets bigger. Then I'm going to go ahead and cast... I'm going to cast the other combat training on the Killing Skarn. This still gets bigger, and now when either of these deal damage to my opponent, if either of these deal damage to my opponent, I return both copies of combat training from my discard pile to my hand. So our opponent just didn't block there. Killing Skarn's really sweet. So this is a good example of something that you can... I guess this is similar to stuff we do in Magic, but this card transforms. So like the double-faced cards we have in Magic. But not only does it transform once, but when this card, we cast 2 actions on turn, this card transforms a 3rd time. So basically every time you play 2 actions in the same turn, this card keeps growing bigger and bigger and bigger. So at the end of my turn here, this is going to turn into a 2-2 that has +1 power, so it's going to be a 3-2 permanently. I'm not sure if I want to cast one of these combat trainings during the end step here. I think I do. And the reason why I want to do that is it makes this bigger and it uses our resources again. So this is permanently a 4-2 now. And every time we play an action, this card gets +2/+2 until end of turn. Making this into a 4-2 permanently also means if our opponent plays the card called Succulent Cluckodon, which gets to fight a troop that costs 1 power, he can't kill either of these for free, which is great. Another Cyclone Shaper. So now every action in my opponent's hand costs him -2. Alright, we drew another Gas Troll. So I'm going to go ahead and play my additional Gas Troll out here. Yeah, not having to, like, tap lands like we do in Magic in this game is phenomenal. So I'm going to go ahead and play combat training here on my new Gas Troll. And even though I'm targeting this one, I played a Ruby card and I played an action, so both of these get larger just for playing the combat training. Then I'm going to go ahead and ship in here with Gas Troll and Burning Skarn. And if either of these hit my opponent, I return both my combat trainings from my discard pile to my hand. Not surprised to see this double block here. So my guy's going to trade with both of his. And that's fine. I get both my combat trainings back to my hand because this guy dealt damage. I'm going to go ahead and cast another combat training here just to use up my resources and make both these guys larger. This card's so busted. It's a 1-drop, and now this is just an 8/7. Good luck. Because you haven't refreshed your browser yet. I was playing Magic as of 20 minutes ago. I am no longer playing Magic. We are now playing Hex. Because I stream both games on this channel. I switched the game category. You have to refresh your browser in order for Twitch to update the category that the stream is being displayed in. No, I was a good boy. I did switch it. So we're now 2-1 in this gauntlet, and I like the gauntlets in this game work similar to how the arenas work in Hex, which is much better than Magic Online Leagues. You play until you have 5 wins or 3 losses, which is great, which means even if you take a loss or 2, you can still earn the maximum prize for a gauntlet, which is wonderful. Also, the EV in gauntlets is insane. Oh, this is funny. My wife is playing... This is my wife's account. She must be playing upstairs on the laptop, and we just got paired against each other. Double Gas Troll is so good. I'm going to be greedy and keep. If we hit a Ruby Shard, this hand is insane. This just keep it definitely on the looser side, but like the risk to reward is huge here. Like we had a Ruby Shard, we just go Gas Troll Ember Tongue Scar next turn and just like run her over. So as far as value goes, the constructed gauntlets and hexes are insane value. Going infinite in this game is so much easier than going infinite in Magic Online, because you turn a profit going 3/3 in gauntlet. Look at that. Never didn't have it. Skill game. Skill game. All right, time to run her out of the house here. I'm sleeping on the couch tonight. Either that or she's going to ask me to build her this deck. She was asking me about building her Gas Troll deck. And then she's playing a ramp deck that I put together for her because I had that cards extra for her account. So if she just like plays a Chlorophilia here. Wow, her hand is not great. So... oh, this game's so easy sometimes. So this card's great. It gives a troop +2 power till end of turn, but it also draws a card. So in addition to giving this +2 power till end of turn, this is a Ruby action. So basically this card does +5, 3 of which is permanent. So just like, this is turn 3. And remember, I kept a 1-sharder this game. We're going to cast Burn here, which gives all of these guys +1 power permanently. Just like crack you for 12 on turn 3. Oh! Sorry, honey. Don't hate me. Alrighty. Liliana makes... yeah, Moto Bugs make going infinite easy. That's true. The deck that I'm playing right now costs... probably right around $80. I think these are... it might even be less than that. These are 5s. These are like 3. And these are 4. Those are the only really expensive cards in this deck. The rest of these are commons and uncommons. So like this is definitely one of the cheaper decks. So like... so a set of these is like 20, 32... 50. This deck's probably closer to $50 or $60 actually. Yeah, it's probably less than 50, actually. I hadn't thought about that. Actually, this card costs a little bit of money, Heat Wave, but I'm not even sure that this card is good in the board. I'm not sure I want to board anything against her. I think my main deck... I might want Scorch just to, like, kill her ramp creatures, but... yeah, in all honesty, I think I'm just hitting submit here. There are currently four sets in Hex. They just had the 4th set release. There's about 1,000 unique cards in Hex. So we're on the draw this game and have just another triple 1-drop start. Super good. Scorch is a basic action, so it's similar to Gut Shot, but it's not strictly better. It's basic actions mean you can only play them on your turn. If you're interested in giving Hex a try, you can read this article. It gives you a quick intro on how to get cards, where you can just buy them. If you try Hex and you like it, the first thing anyone that says what is the best way to try Hex, it's just you install it on Steam or download it from their site and just play the PvE campaign and get a feel for the game mechanics and see if the game mechanics are interesting to you. That's what I did. I played the game for probably 2 or 3 hours before I put any amount of money into it. And then instead of choosing to try and grind for things, I just put some money into the machine and bought a constructed deck for like, I think I spent like $70 to get started. So I think I could attack with Quash, and if she blocks here, just like Crushing Blow my Quash, it gives my guy 2/2 and Crush. But I think I'd rather just go like Killing Skarn, Killing Skarn. But I guess if I go Skarn, Skarn, and she plays Skarns went down. Yeah. Okay. Actually, I think I think I want to offer this trade here, because if she has a shard next turn, she could play a Crocosaur, which is a 5/6 dinosaur that fights 2 troops when it comes into play. So that could be kind of scary. It started virtual, yep. And I love a lot of the digital design space. So one other things that I haven't gotten into yet, because my opponents keep dying before I can activate it. You'll see Christy and I each started with different life totals. Each player has a champion that you choose when you build your decks, and the champion determines your starting life total and an ability that you have. So if I get to 4 charges, my champion can create a Blaze Elemental, which is basically a token creature that's a 3/1 with speed. Her ability is for 4 charges, she can draw a card, but she has to cast that card that turn or it gets discarded. So she has 4 Crocs in her deck, so if we just get Crocs here, we're going to be in a little bit of trouble. Awesome, Dragon 14. Yes, this is the dinosaur that I was a little worried about. So when this comes into play, it battles 2 opposing troops. So she's probably just going to, like, eat Quashin and kill Lingscarn here. Killing both the Skarns. Okay, interesting. I guess the Skarns can kind of get out of control, especially with combat training. That's fair. And they can gain extra toughness. It's really hard for Quash to attack through his Crocosaur. I think I'm just playing this new Skarn out and passing the turn here. If she has another Croc, we're basically just ranched. Probably just going to pack it in. The deck I'm playing is kind of an aggressive, like, almost pseudo-combo deck with the aggressive troops and, like, the pump spells. Like, Quash, if you pump into him, he obviously moves that pump over to another troop as well, which is great. The Pyretic Performers is a card I'm not sure about in this deck. It's really good in other Ruby aggressive decks, but playing a 3-drop in this 1-drop aggressive deck might just be a little bit less than stellar. She has 2 Balthazars in her 75. How well tiered is Wintermoon right now? What's it called? Chris Van Meter and I have both been working on a just straight Sapphire Wild Wintermoon deck that's very good. This is similar to Boss Sly, yep. So this card's very powerful. And again, like, you know, we're a Sly deck, so like her top end's just way better than us. So it's a 4/3, then it comes into play, it creates 2 1/1 troops, and as long as this card stays in play, those troops get +1/+1. So we're basically just like super outclassed here. I don't think we have any draws at this point to win this game. Probably just gonna... Yeah, we have a shard. Which technically we can Blade Flourish in combat training, but we're still just gonna die here, right? Let's do this and see how it feels. So we can attack for a lot here, but... Devian, if you look here on Hex Meta, you can search for my username and see all the deck lists that I've played in Gauntlets. So we're attacking for 15 here. Yeah, I'm going to let her actually kill me. It's fine. So we're attacking for 15 here, you know. A little show of strength before we die to her giant board. She's got 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14 power. Honey, why are you blocking? This is why I attacked. You shouldn't be blocking, honey. Oh no, I'm not that on board anymore. I'm gonna... If she has Shard Root Father, she kills us. She does just kill us on the crackback. That block was bad unless she has cards that just kill us here. It is Hex time, Seto. What's going on, mate? Currently 2-1 in this gauntlet. Another green paw, sure. Alright. Alright, I'll give it to you. I haven't tried the Ruby Sapphire Lissetto. I wanted to try this out. This has been on the back of my mind. The Pyretic Performers just really don't seem great. I'm going to cut those. I'm going to put in Scorch on the play and maybe a couple of Ember Spire Witches and see how this goes. You always scoop, makes her big. Hopefully this isn't her third match with the deck. She said she lost her first two and she was not pleased with me because of it. This hand is very, very, very good. I will be pretty surprised if we lose this one. This deck just does sweet things. It's like more combo-y and big. Yeah, so one of the sweet things about this, so Magic players know that Wizards is like infamous for like hiding information from their players. Hex gives us everything. Every deck that's played in every gauntlet gets published on hexmeta.com so you can see it. So I think I want to lead on Gas Troll here because if she plays a mana dork on one, or a shard dork, whatever, a resource dork, I don't want her to be able to trade with Quash. How many Heat Waves Marshall? I don't think she has any. No, there's no Heat Waves in her reserves because she has cards that die to it too, like mana troops. But she has Carnosauruses and Cluckadons, so she's got the tools to win this matchup for sure. I always respect these type of decks when I build decks. So I'm going to go ahead and play this Ruby Shard. And this is one of the really neat things about showing the resource system of Hex, how it's different from Magic. So even though I played a Wild Shard on one and now a Ruby Shard on two, I can play both of these Ruby cards on the second turn of the game because Quash has a resource cost of 1 and only has a 1 Ruby threshold requirement. So because I meet the threshold requirement for both of these, I can play both of them on the second turn here. It's possible I'm supposed to hold off on playing the second Quash and just like burn her Howling Brave here, which is basically like an Elvish Mystic. It taps to make a charge or a resource. Except way prettier. Yep. Honestly, playing Magic Online after playing Hex for a little while, it makes me sad. I would love to play Magic and have it look nice enough like this. Just like some smooth transitions and simple animations and still get to play the actual game. She's salting in chat. She says, I'm 0-2 in this gauntlet. Let's play. This is her third match. She must have a really good hand. We did prototype. So Ember Spire Witch, for example, we were talking about the threshold system. It costs double Ruby, so I am going to need to draw another Ruby Shard in order to play this Ember Spire Witch out. They don't currently have a mobile client for Hex. Hex is currently just on Windows and OS X officially. However, it also runs on Linux. I'm actually streaming through Linux on using Wine. She could have Justicar. Cheesmith is pretty good here. So Cheesmith is a 2/3 lethal troop, which means whenever it deals any amount of damage, it kills the thing. And then at the beginning of her turn, every turn she starts with this in her hand. This creates a random cheese and puts it into her hand. How long have I been a Linux person for? I started using Linux during my freshman or sophomore year of undergrad. So I'm going to go ahead and play out this Ruby Shard, and I'm going to play Ember Spire Witch pre-combat here because it makes my Gas Troll larger. So I'm going to go ahead and attack with all my troops here. And then my Quashes kind of combo into each other here. So the leftmost will be added first, so this one gets added to the stack first. So I want this one to target the gas troll, and I want this one to target this one. So this guy gets bigger, makes this one bigger, makes this a 2, and then this guy's 2 gets put onto the gas troll. She just didn't block here. So she didn't block, so she's playing around the burn or crushing blow here. I'm going to go ahead and burn and kill her Howling Brave here. And I'm doing this before damage because playing a Ruby card makes my gas troll larger. Yeah, the center is basically a stack. So this game has, there's quick actions and interrupts, and you can respond to things your opponent is doing. It's great. Just great. So actually, this is the first time we got to use our champion power. So we've got our 4th charge here because we're a little flooded. We get to activate this, which gives us a 3-1 here. So I'm going to go ahead and attack with all of my guys. And my gals. I guess I have a witch here. And again, going to stack this onto here. And then stack this one onto this one. So this quash makes this one bigger, and then this one makes this one bigger. So these guys stack up real fast. So this 2 turns this into a 4, and then this 4 turns this into a 9. And I think she's just dead here. I don't have this list posted anywhere just yet, Prototype. This one is something I just threw together the other night and played a couple gauntlets with, couple matches in the gauntlet with off stream. This one is definitely far from optimized. We're 3-1 right now. There's an older version of this deck. An older version of this deck. I wrote and recorded a bunch of videos with this before the new set release, and you can find those there. Yeah, so dead. So we're 3-1 in this gauntlet now. I'm sure she's going to come down here and yell at me. Or she thought her deck was bad. I wonder how she boarded. Boarding is definitely one of Chrissy's weaker spots. She's newer to TCGs, so that's one of the things that newer players tend to struggle with. So we didn't see Karns or Cluck. She probably needed to mulligan a little bit more aggressively too. The hand she kept in the first game was not keepable against the deck that we're playing, the champion that we're playing. And that's one of the things I really love about Hex is the information is there for you to make educated decisions better than there is in Magic. By looking at the champion that your opponent is playing, you can make educated decisions on your mulligan based on a guesstimate of what deck they can be playing. The aggressive decks in this game tend to be playing particular champions. So you can look at your opponent's champion and go, oh, I can keep this hand because my opponent's playing a mid-range or control deck likely, or you can look at your hand that's kind of slower and go, my opponent's playing Paka, which is the champion that I'm playing. Paka is usually an aggressive champion, so I should mulligan this slower hand because our opponent's likely playing an aggressive strategy. I love you, honey. Good night, Ian. Thanks for hanging out. If any of the Magic players do arts are going to be in Charlotte this weekend again, be sure to come by and say hello. I will be there for sure. Common interests are the basis of a wonderful marriage. They're great. Chrissy never really got into Magic too much, but it's nice to be able to play Hex together. Competitiveness of the Fury Chant deck. You know, the constructed format hasn't really become super defined post the new set release. There aren't as many people playing Hex as there are playing Magic in the whole world. So decks get solved. The decks get solved, you know, slower in terms of time length because there's less overall games being played in Hex. The Fury Chant deck seems like there's definitely something that's probably competitive there. It's super explosive, which is great. 4.5 hours? That's miserable. What are you studying, cruising in? That's forever. All right. Turned my 1/1 into a 3/1 here. That's interesting. Seto. Periwinkle Phoenix is hot. There's got to be more ones in here, right? I can't see all of your... This can't possibly be all of your ones, right? I guess maybe it is 12. This is 12, 16, 20. You want a rematch? Those are all the ones. Okay, that's interesting. Scorch is made by Pyretic. Yeah, that seems really sweet, actually. Oakenhenge into Sunsoul Phoenix. And Oakenhenge made by... Yeah, that seems really sweet, actually. What are the gems on Heroic? Like damage and speed? Yeah, seems pretty powerful. Your 17 shard special. So opponent's playing Running Deer. So for 4 charges, he gains 5 life. That's probably pretty good against our aggro deck. We have both of our colors and a gas troll on one, though. So let's just get it going. Opponent looks to be playing a ramp strategy. His start's very good. Ruby Shard would be great here. So this is a dual shard. It makes one of either of these. Unfortunately, it doesn't make a charge this turn. So now I have to choose between playing out a troop and burning his Howling Brave. The problem is that... The problem with this is that if he plays a shard and activates this, he could Croco us next turn. So I think I need to kill... I think I need to kill the Howling Brave, as sad as that sounds. Wellspring has another Accelerant here. Didn't play a shard. That's good for us. So let's go ahead and play this. Choose Ruby here. We don't have any double wild thresholds, so I don't think we beat Croc anyways. Maybe. So play Quash, play Kilding Skarn, attack for 4. You would have thrown out the troop. Maybe. I don't know. If I would have left him that, he could have Wellspringed for 2 last turn. So there's a reason why we only play 2 of the dual shards in this deck, because they're really awkward and then they come into play tapped. Or they don't make a charge. That deck looks really sweet, Seto. I want to try this deck a lot now. Or something close to this. The fact that Periwinkle kicks empowered Pyretic Performers sounds really hot. So this card, it lets him put it from his hand into his deck and draw another card. And the next time he draws that, it costs 2 less. That being said, our opponent is likely pretty dead here, even with his extra life. So yes, I'm going to play Kilding Skarn, and I'm going to play Ember Tongue Skarn. The Toons cards you have. So we're just playing both Skarns because we just want 8 1-drops. This one just gets a permanent point of power every time you play an action. This one gets 1/1 until end of turn when you play an action, but if you play 2 action in the same turn, it levels up and then levels up again. So I'm going to go ahead and attack here with all of these. If he blocks any of them, I plan to Wild Growth the one he blocks. He might just write this off as me shoving to shove, but like trading one of these for 1 point of damage is not stellar. So yeah, I don't think I'd block here either. If he has a Croc here, this Wild Growth means we get to kill the Croc, which is nice. Next turn, we really want to draw an action like a Crushing Blow or something like that. Oh, geez. Oh, crap. God, I hate that about this game. That is the worst fucking feature about Hex. It's so bad. It's so frustrating. I hate that I always forget that. You can't respond. Triggers that don't use the stack, triggers that don't target don't go on the stack here. Which means I was just like, oh, that's fine. I can respond to this thing with this Wild Growth and not lose my board. So this card, every time you gain a Ruby threshold, it does 1 damage to all opposing troops. And I could have cast that Wild Growth to save all of these troops. It would have made this a 3/3 and it would have made both of these larger. But you can't respond to those in Hex, which is really, really ridiculously frustrating. We're likely to still win this game, but that's one of the things that really tilts me. Like, I can't tell you the number of times that I could have saved my guys and just didn't because I forgot that that's how it works. Yeah, heck, Shards of Fate on Steam. I love a lot of things about this game, and the design of a lot of the things that it has is phenomenal, but that little thing is very annoying. Opponent's troop is called Eternal Sage. It's really a sweet card. It does a different thing every time you play a different shard. Alright, so opponent's probably still dead here. So this card's pretty powerful too. Whenever he enters the battlefield under your control, you draw cards equal to your highest troops power, and you gain life equal to your highest troops toughness. So he just drew 5 and gained 5. But this made this bigger, and it creates a Scorch, which kills this and makes this bigger. And then this card gives target attacking troop 2/2 and Crush. So he should just be dead here. So this gives 2/2, but again, okay, so he's blocking here. So he's taking 4. Yeah, so Crushing Blow on either of these kills him. Because this gets 1 whenever we cast an action, and this gets 1 whenever we cast a Ruby card. Now these both have Crush. So he gained 9 life that game, and we just ran him over still. I think Pyretic Performer is probably not great, especially when he's on internal stage with rubies. Like, having more troops that just died with 1 toughness doesn't seem stellar. I'm going to board in Ember Spire Witches because they prevent him from gaining life with things like Balthazar, and I'm sure he's boarding in more things that let him gain life. Then I'm going to go ahead and bring in 1 Scorch here. I just want to split the difference and go 2-2 again. I think that's fine. Go 2-2. Because he's got troops with 1 toughness that we want to Scorch out. Mana creatures. Shard creatures, shard troops, is that what we call them? Shard troops? Shard dorks? Oakenhenge to get more troops, maybe. I like the Oakenhenge against the more removal heavy decks. That's the idea behind him in the reserves. Like, you get to board in this 2-1s. Yeah, I like the Ultra Crushing Blow with the little hearts on it. Do we win the coin flip that game? I forget. His hand only has one troop in it, but it's got the troop's pretty good. It's got Quash, so I think I'm gonna keep this. It's got a Scorch in it too, so we can like kill his turn 1 play if he's got. He explained the premise behind Hex, who's never seen the game. Hex is a fully digital TCG. It's basically. I describe Hex as this is what Magic would be if it was made for a digital platform in the 21st century. The design decisions behind this game aren't limited by what paper cards can do like Magic is, and it's designed by an actual company that cares about their software as opposed to a company like Wizards who's just like trying to get by. Yeah, the combat training hands are pretty gross. I could hold up Wild Growth here to play around Skarn, but I feel like he would have played Skarn last turn if he hit. Lullaby, that's pretty good. So the modifiers on these things are usually permanent, but what Lullaby does is it reverts all of the attacking troops. So Lullaby is a fog, it prevents all damage, and it returns all troops to their base state. So this card loses the text that it returns combat training, and it loses all the bonuses that he's built up. Peace, Bardic. Thanks for hanging out, mate. Thankfully, I have another combat training here. So unless he has another Lullaby, I'm going to get both these combat trainings back from my bin. So I want the bigger one to resolve first. Oh, I think I stacked these in the wrong order. Right. This is fine. This gives him 2, and then he gives him 3. Yeah, that's ideal. I stacked those in the right order. So he's going to take 8 here. I could have cast Wild Growth in response there, but I think I want to save Wild Growth in case he plays a... He has another Lullaby. That's pretty rough. So his Lullabies, I'm glad I didn't Wild Growth, prevented... Thankfully, Quash is insane. If he has Shard Cluck here, we're going to be in trouble now that he had double Lullaby. It's like actual best case scenario for him. That's brutal. I mean, so I think I have to Wild Growth this and burn. And burn his Cluck. Doesn't feel good, but... So this fights my guy. And they trade. So I traded 3 for 1, and he gained 4 life. He's got 2 cards left in his hand. Just like vomit all over the place. Well, if the rest of his cards are awful and he just draws shards for the rest of the game, maybe we have a chance. We draw another combat training will be in this game because the other combat trainings will come back from our discard pile. It's just a 5/5 that never dies. Yep. And he didn't play a shard this turn, so that means all of the cards in his hands are actions. So, what do we got to do? Dodge Croco, build up some actions here. Shard, Aggo May. Eternal Sage is also pretty bad for us. Yes. Ugh. That's so savage. Now we get to play game 3 on the play. I don't really have anything that's good against Lullaby. I'm just gonna hope he doesn't get us ranched this game. God, we would have killed him very quickly if he hadn't had the Lullabies that game. Maybe because he has Lullabies, it means there's not room for Karns in his deck. The Lullaby is very, very good against us, especially since our hand, like... Actually, it's just good against most of our deck. Yeah, that was definitely his best draw against us. This is really unfortunate. This hand's very good with a... No! Crap! Ah! Yes, that's basically the game. This was supposed to be just draw Ruby, right? I mean, if we draw Ruby Shard next turn, maybe we're okay. If we don't draw Ruby Shard in the next turn and he plays something, I'm just going to concede and we'll go on to the next one. So, it's unfortunate. I really wish we could have gotten a real game 3 here instead of me misclicking and not having any hand with castable cards, because we ran him over game 1 even with all right, well, so you're saying there's a chance. If we get Dino'd, I don't think we can beat Cluckdon with how far behind we are because of my mistake, so I'm just playing these out, and if he Cluckdons us, we'll just concede. Heat Wave, sure. Only kills Quash, that's fine. The old Heat Wave Elvish Mystic deck. Opponent's playing a combo deck and didn't even know it. Alright, well, if we don't get crocked and we don't get clucked, we could run him out. This deck pushes damage very quickly now that we have shards. I could have been conservative there and, like, held the wild growth up, but concedes to Croc. Yeah, so if we would have been able to, like, play our cards on time there, like, there's a very real chance we just don't beat the Heat Wave regardless. He did have some serious aggro hate. The Lullabies were just like a massive beating. Like, he had his nuts draw. We had a very strong draw in game 2 as well as... Well, we ran him out in game 1. Game 2, his hand just lined up very well against what ours did. And then game 3, obviously, we just shouldn't have kept that. I was saying I'm going to mulligan as I moved the mouse and clicked the keep hand button like some kind of brain deck. This hand's medium. Choose keep. This hand's fine. Turn 1 Quash. This deck's called... This is a Ruby Wild aggro deck. We're currently 3-2 in this gauntlet, so if we lose one more, we are done. Second Quash makes this hand very good. These Quashes, when they get together, they just close the game out super fast. I guess Lullaby is pretty well positioned right now, right? Because it's really good. It reverts the Knob Gobblers against McBombus. So we're just gonna go ahead here and play this and play Combat Training on Quash, and then play another Quash. So opponent's playing the deck that won the Cup of Fate. When this enters play, it deals damage, equals power to target opposing champion. He doesn't have Ruby Threshold, though. So it does have Spell Shield, because he's got 2 Wild Threshold. So I'm going to go ahead and play this out, and I'm going to Combat Training Quash here. So I want, if either of these to hit, to get the Combat Training back to my hand. I want, so if I put this here, it turns this into a 4, it turns this into a 5, which turns this into a 7. If I put this here, it turns, this goes to 3, which turns this into a 5, which turns this into an 8. Yeah, this is the cannon variant. So I'm trying to think of what's the best way to do this. So this, I always want to put the higher power one on, I want to put the highest power one on the chain first. Yeah, so I want to put, well, I want to put it on the chain last so it resolves first is what I mean. So I'm going to go ahead and Blade Flourish here. So this turns into a 5-1, which then turns this into a 7-1, which turns this into a 12-1. So we attack for 19. Blade Flourish is a quick action. So he's trading this for 12 points, which is fair. Combat Training back to our hand. If he has Shard, Eternal Sage, his champion ability gains him a threshold of his choice, so he can go Shard, Eternal Sage, make a Ruby, kill my guys. So Eternal Sage is kind of scary here. Wellspring for 2, that's fine. So we're going to attack him for 4 next turn. Or attack him for more than that because we can activate our champion ability, which creates a troop, which can get plus powered by Quash. Yeah, it escalates really fast. Turn 3, crack for 19. Yep. The multiple Quash hands are just disgusting. I definitely think there's a good Combat Training Quash deck somewhere. Someone asked earlier why we were playing this instead of the Ruby Sapphire aggressive deck. I think there's a good Combat Training Quash deck somewhere. I just don't know what it is. I don't know if this is it, but there's definitely a good Combat Training Quash deck somewhere. So this hits him for 8, 11, and puts him to 3. So then if he doesn't gain life, he's dead next turn. So I'm going to go ahead and play out this Pyretic Performer here, which creates a Scorch and puts it into my hand. And now we have Burn plus Scorch to deal 3 damage here, so he needs to gain some life, or he's dead. He's going to Eternal Sage and make a Ruby and kill my guys. That's fine. You're dead to the burn that I have in my hand. Just boop you once, boop you twice. I don't think Pyretic Performer, again, I want to board it out because he's probably boarding in life gain. Scorch seems fine. And it's just another thing that Eternal Sage can clean up. And it's kind of expensive. I'm not really sure if I even like it in the deck. Like 3 resources is a lot. So on the draw for this game, since we're up a game, hopefully he's getting another nutty hand and he doesn't have an infinite aggro hate in his sideboard. The aggro hate is real. If they want it more than we do, they can definitely have it in this game. Oh, God, this hand's pretty good if we rip a ruby. Yeah, I'm going to keep this one on the draw. Feeling lucky. Yeah, I think I just want to play the gas troll. We need to rip a ruby for this hand to be good. So, another thing, someone commented about Scorch being a gut shot on crack. One of the things that's interesting about the resource system in Hex is that even though this costs 0, it still requires a ruby threshold to play. So even though it costs 0 resources, I can't play this card currently because I don't have a ruby threshold. And this hand definitely has the possibility of doing stone nothing and us dying. But if we get to just like gas troll and to play these things, he's gonna get ranched. Ah, look at that. Professional. This is how you become a professional CCG player, for those wondering. Gutshot's a magic card that costs Phyrexian mana. Yeah, it's basic. It's instant. Well, this is not going to end well for him. So he's going to put the fight trigger on the stack, and I'm going to burn him in response. So this is a 2-2 that fights something when it comes into play. I'm just going to go ahead and burn him, which turns my gas troll into a 3-3. So his 2-2 fights my 3-3, and it does not end well for his 2-2. Play an Ember Tongue Scar, which makes my gas troll bigger. Attack with my gas troll. And then again, I'm just going to hold up Wild Growth here because if my opponent plays a Cluckdon and tries to fight either of my guys, this Wild Growth just blows him out. Oh, right. It gains life when he fights things, right? Does not look like his hand is well positioned against us. So I'm just going to go ahead and burn this guy at end step, which makes both of these larger because it's both an action and a ruby card. And my 1-drops. If his deck plays Transmogrified, he's not in an awful spot, but anything other than Transmogrified, he's definitely getting ranged here. I'm going to go ahead and just Crushing Blow here. It gives 2 power just this turn. It gives 2 power permanently because it's a ruby card and an action. So he's taking 10 down to 9. Not technically dead on board, but, you know, he's mostly dead. He can assume my hand is action. I haven't been playing shards. Again, attack for 8, and then play this Crushing Blow out. Outside of a Lullaby, we should be good here. Did you? Did you, please? Did you? Alright, sweet. Welcome back, Bardic. Alright, well, we're 4-2 in this gauntlet now, so that means we're done with this gauntlet after this last game, and I think I'm going to be done for the night. It's almost midnight here. I need to get a couple of things done before I hit the hay for the night. So it's going to be the last match of the evening. Thanks, everyone, for hanging out here through Magic and Hex and all that jazz. Got to do a little bit of everything this evening, which is always fun. This deck seems sweet. Definitely room to grow. This is the first draft of this deck since Primal Dawn release, so it's definitely room for improvement. Like I said, these Pyretic performers don't seem stellar. Actually, this is one of the things I love about... Oh. It actually queued before I hit cancel. Alright. I was going to say, I'm going to actually cut the Pyretic performers to the board and just change something else, but... Arcanus, you are in chat. Close the stream. Have a heart. 6:50 a.m. Well, good morning to you. This hand's medium. Why are you people awake at 6:50 a.m.? Do you have children that woke you up? It's the only reason I'd be awake at that time. Do I want to play the Killing Scarn into a possible removal spell? Do I want to play the Killing Scarn into a possible removal spell? I don't think I do. I think I want to just pass the turn here. I think I'm going to play the Killing Scar next turn with a Wild Growth up, so that way it's unlikely that he can kill it. And, like, now he might want to even just, like, cast a burn at my face if he has one, so he can start pushing damage with these. Arcane Focus is really good against these. Yeah, Shadow, I wouldn't be surprised if this is a bad matchup for us. I haven't played it yet. I've got a lot of good board cards for it, but would not be surprised if he just runs us out of the gates even with those. Our starting life total is not high, and he's an aggressive deck. Oh, so you're still awake from the night before. Okay. I might actually Wild Growth and block his guys here. Yeah, I think when he ships with everything here, I'm going to Wild Growth my guy and block one of his Scarns. Alright, so if I double combat training this, it attacks him for 5 and puts him to 17. And then next turn, I can double combat training Wild Growth to give 3, 6, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. And then I need to draw a Crushing Blow to deal 17 if he doesn't leave any blockers back. Alright, there's outs. Yeah, I don't think it's likely that we're winning this game. We needed to win this coin flip, I think. No, I think taking the aggressive line where, like, maybe he just doesn't have it, and maybe we draw Crushing Blow, I think is the most likely a burn kills me. Sure, a burn kills me. I think I'd rather take an aggressive line where we're like we have outs to just kill him as opposed to like trying to play a control deck with our deck that just is not capable of ever being a control deck. Nine. Yep, he's got us. No, wait, this is where he's 1 off, right? This is only 8. So he needs another burn to kill us. Crushing Blow, Wild Growth. Alright, that should kill him, right? And we got our champion power? Yeah, he's dead, right? Yeah, he's dead. Rawr! Didn't even need the Wild Growth. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Oh, taste it, nerd. Taste it. Today I learned play your deck the way it should be played. Yep, exactly. Role assessment is critical. Now, post reserves, we can kind of be a control deck sometimes. To put it like loosely, we can kind of be a control deck sometimes, to say that again. I'm going to board in Gale Forces, and I'm going to board in Crimson Bolt, and I'm going to board in a Vine Lash. I'm going to cut Pyretic Performer, I think, and just be more of a control deck. Like, it's expensive. Maybe one Blade Flourish, I think. I don't hate Scorch in this matchup either. Yeah, and honestly, Sato, for a long time, I didn't play control decks or aggro decks either. Like, I was very much like a mid-range and control player. And you will be a better mid-range and better control player if you spend time playing the aggressive decks. Learning the ins and outs of playing decks like this one I'm playing now, and like how you're supposed to take lines like that. Like what I did there, like play to the kill him as opposed to playing defensive, that it will make you a better player overall. So it's worth spending time playing decks like this. This 2-1 is Mentor of Oak. Yeah, there you go. Which we might actually want in this matchup. I think I'd rather keep Blade Flourish. Oh, God, the hands without any shards in it look so good. Just hope he doesn't Sided for Transmogrified. Yeah, right. Who put the fear of God in him? You know? Took him from 17 to nothing. Skarns are scary. Skarns are scary. Opponent went to 5. Feel good drawing again here. Okay, going to 5 as well. 5 super reasonable. Hopefully his 5's less reasonable than ours. Skarn on 1's pretty good. I'm going to play my Quash on 1 here. He could have Burn, but... Or, yeah, I'm going to play Quash on 1 still, even with the drawing the Skarn. Just no play. That's good for us. Sweet. I'm going to go ahead and attack with Quash Ridge Tusker here, because if he blocks and tries to, like, give it plus power, I'll just Crushing Blow my guy in response. And if he just, like, blocks and they bounce, like, it just gets to rage up. So, I'm not going to play around Heat Wave here, which might be wrong. I'm not sure if they usually play that. I feel like Heat Wave kills a lot of his guys, too. But, you know, our opener's actually very good here for being on 5. Our 5's definitely looking better than his until he Heat Waves us. The Bumblebot deck is playing Heat. Everyone plays Heat Wave in this game. It's so annoying. Mono on Mono Heat Wave. It kills his Phoenixes too. Gobbler returns. That's fair. Yeah, I guess it's fair. That's really good. He's playing defense while he beats us down in the air with that. Which is unfortunate. I can't even be attacking with this, because we'll just, like, lose this race. Probably just out of this game now. The Heat Wave was a little bit too much. Or he's trading 2 for 1 here, and his next cards are all going to draw cards. So if we don't, like, run off troops here, we're just going to concede. Yeah, I'm just going to take this next game on the plate. So knowing that he has Heat Wave, does that change any of my lines? I'm going to bring in 2 of the mentors because they can help keep our threat density up through some heat waves. Man, if he hadn't heat waved us that turn, we were going to get to make those guys huge with the crushing blow and the burn. So one Skarn was going to do his transformy thing. So this is going to be my last game of the night, folks. Thanks for hanging out, everyone. Appreciate the few resubs that we had, and welcome to all of the new followers, of course. This hand doesn't seem particularly good. Unlike some of the other one-charters that I've kept, like the upside of it working isn't great. Opponent is deciding whether or not they want to mulligan. This hand only has 1 threat in it. It's not great against a removal heavy deck. The chat that I'm using is through Twitch Alerts. TwitchAlerts.com. Has nice adjustable sizes, which is wonderful. Well, Gastrol's going to be really good if Alright, well, he doesn't have burn at least. If we draw a wild shard, this Gestrel can get pretty large pretty quickly. Like, we draw a wild shard next turn, go like combat training, and then burn, and then this is too big to get heat waved. This could just eat a crackling bolt this turn, though. Yeah. That's just something they have preset. They have a configuration settings where you can choose background colors and stuff like that. Alright, well, again, our 2-shard mana base, our 2-shard shard base is not terribly consistent, so that's one of the things. Like, the list that Sato said he played against looks really sweet. I think you want to try something like this, mostly because it just has access to elves, so it can play the elf dual shard. The Death Cloud deck did not do stellar. We went 2 and 3 with it. But, you know, we had fun. Casting Death Cloud is sweet. We won most of the games where that resolved. In fact, I think we won all but 1 where we cast that for a large amount. God, his hand just has to be like mono removal, right? Maybe it's just like all gobblers or all phoenixes. Want to buy 1 wild shard. Welcome, Redman. Thank you for the follow. The old knob gobbler here. Burn this out. Line up off sight. That's terrifying. We don't have wild, Sato. This takes wild. Okie doke. All right, I really want to try this deck that Sato listed. Infamous with the host. Welcome. We're gonna play. I'm actually gonna put this together and play a match with it really quick, I think. So there's Scorch. We're only gonna play one more, I swear. And then I do need to sleep. I don't need 4 of those too, actually. Get 21 shard, that's fine. Yeah, with Oaken, whatever. It's all right, sounds good. We'll do. Whole thing will go up on the YouTube. I'm not sure why Heroic Outlaw is in this deck. Is this an elf? It's a human rogue. Why are we playing Heroic Outlaw? Just because it's another 6-drop? Is that the idea? Gastral, of course. Scorchburn, Gastral. This isn't enough cards, right? Scorchburn, Gastral. Periwinkle, this. Speed and damage really powerful. Yeah, that's fair. What am I missing from your list here? There's no way this is this many shards, right? I think you were playing a lot more than 21 shards. Yeah, the list you sent me says 60 cards, but you must just be on like a ton of shards. Like we definitely want probably 4 savagery. 4 savagery might not even be too many even. I kind of want a couple combat trainings in here. Combat training's like really good with Gestral. And it like makes Mentor of the Oakenhenge must kill. I wouldn't hate a few of those. We could also play... where is it? This card doesn't seem awful. I guess double red. No, we're playing double. We're playing a lot of double red cards. Visage of the Masquerade. This card seems okay. Like your phoenixes and stuff. We could play a Skarn too. We could definitely play a Skarn. I think I like playing Skarn more, just having 8 1-drops. This card makes the Elf Shard better though, because like this is a tribal shard. It only makes dual allegiance when you have an elf. I want to try Heroic Outlaw. If we're playing Periwinkle, it seems like I want to try this at the very least. I think I want to try a few of these. And that's -8 will give me 22 shards. Yeah, it seems sweet. I want to cut 1 shard of Savagery, which might be greedy, but the tap shards really suck in aggressive decks. So this is 17 ruby? Yeah, 17 ruby and 12 wild. 12 wild's probably fine, right? But just some general hate in the board. 4 Gale Force, Ember. What else was I doing? Let me look at this deck and see what I had on the board. Burstfire, Heatwave, I have Mentor on the board. Already playing Scorches. This board can just be a hot mess for now. Just put some Crimson Bolts and some Crackling Bolts in here. It's like mono flying hate. This seems sweet in theory. All right, let's try a gauntlet, and I'll queue. If the gauntlet queues quickly, we'll just play 1 match, and then I'll call it a night. I finished 11-4 for 19th place. I don't think I want Heatwave in this deck. Heatwave killed most of our guys. Right? Yeah, okay, yeah. You're saying LOL. Now, Cleave might be playable. Like, Cleave is like a Heatwave we can play. It's definitely weaker, though. The VIP events are always the last weekend of the month. Alright, peace, Proto. I think we're going to play Hex. I think we're going to play Hex tomorrow, too. So, I've been playing a lot of Magic this week. And just for reference, for people that watch my normal schedule, there's no stream this Friday because I will be traveling. I played a Jeskai control deck that was splashing green for a Bring to Light tutor package. That included Scape Shift as a win condition. Peace, Dino. No, it's not gonna fire at midnight. That's so sad. Going back to Kiki this week, I'm not sure. Yep, Jessica Control is a good Infect matchup, to be fair, though. They always fire best three. They fire like my normal stream salt. They usually fire pretty quickly, like the mid afternoon U.S. early evening. I'm excited to like Oakenhenge ceremony into Sunsoul Phoenixes. That sounds hot. Yeah, don't worry about trying to queue into me. We'll get some poor unsuspecting victim here in a few minutes, I'm sure. Valerie, Veldra, bum 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 bum. I do go to Indy quite often. Western suburb of Chicago. Yep, I'm up there fairly often. My parents live on the south side of Chicago. My in-laws do as well. Yeah, me too. I don't understand, like, the Open in Chicago last year was very successful and had a lot of people at it. So, like, I'm kind of confused that they aren't going back this year. They must have had issues with that event site or whatever. Might ask why you edit the list in your reader instead of making your list for the day. It was like a key list, only tuna hearies. Because I change my list almost every single day, and I don't want that page to just be like infinite deck lists. You can easily go back through my YouTube archives and like pull up deck lists at a certain spot and pause the video and screenshot it if you're looking forward to do that. But man, maybe it's just not meant to be, and we'll just stream this tomorrow afternoon. I'm gonna give it another 2 minutes here, but if we don't queue in 2 minutes, I'm gonna just go to bed. Sorry, folks. Thanks for hanging out here this evening. Some late night Magic and Hex, but if it doesn't queue in another couple of minutes, I'm just gonna call it a night, and we'll stream some tomorrow afternoon. I know it seems like no Sadolution got us hyped. He linked me this sweet list, and now somebody queue up. Somebody queue into my obnoxiousness. Apparently, reading Magic drama, because that's what Reddit's good for. The MTGHQ guy exploded on Twitter this evening. It's unfortunate for him. Sato, if you don't want to play a gauntlet, we could just like play a for fun match too. Someone has a reasonably tiered deck. Oh, look at that. It's not Sadolution. Oh, we won the die roll, coin flip, whatever it's called, too. That's got to be good for us. Turn 1 Gastral, Sneeper Keeper. Man, I feel like we want combat training in this deck somewhere. I really do. combat training gas troll is just like so insanely busted. Obviously, we're committed to this gauntlet, but I'm going to be looking at the Allegiant shards do give a temporary resource. That's why they're so powerful. I think you're right, Zato. Yeah, that gas troll seems good, but I think I want to try some. I think there's a really good combat training deck that probably involves this and might involve Skarns. Like, I feel like there's a 4 gas troll, 8 Skarn combat training deck somewhere in the format. Gas troll pyretic performer is definitely hot in the most literal and figurative sense. Oh, this is really sweet, actually. So we get to use Cressida this turn. So we get to play Pyretic Performer, get a Scorch, activate Cressida to gain a charge, and then burn this, Scorch this, crack him for 4. Wow, that's great. And like Pyretic gives Gas Troll +2/+2 because it's a red card and a ruby card, and then makes another ruby card. So Cressida, our champion, for those that have never seen this before, for 3 charges, it gives us a temporary resource. Seems like an appropriate time, right? Kill here would be annoying, but not the end of the world. Just get another Pyretic Performer out here. If he has Extinction, that's going to be kind of suck, but if he has Extinction and doesn't cast a kill here, he's also... Oh, you know what? I probably should have Scorched him here. I think we're just probably going to see a kill on the Gas Troll. Yeah, that's fine. That means Extinction's less bad for us next turn. You think I was supposed to Oakenhenge? I don't think so. I think I want to just push damage there. Oh, Oakenhenge this turn in case he had Extinction? That's fair. I don't know. I mean, like, if I was hitting him for 5 there, it puts him to 9. Ooh, that's pretty good. So this card, when it comes into play, gives a troop minus power equal to its power, and whenever it dies, it goes back to his hand with cost +2. So... I think I'm just going to Scorch this and put it back in his hand. Attack for 3 here. I'm going to go ahead and just play out this other Pyretic Performer again. Not stellar if he has Extinction, but I think he would have cashed that in if he had it already. We got him dead in 2. We have Visage of the Masquerade. We've got 3 of them. Again, this is another card that would just like be good with combat training too. Yeah, we don't have Maw in this deck. Maybe, man, if this card was Maw, God, how dead would he be here if this card was Maw? Like that's nuts. I'm just gonna double Double Scorch this. Do I really care about that? I kind of want to wait a turn in case I draw a Phoenix. If this card was Maw right now, we just like get to cast it for free and get 2 of them with Periwinkle. So if we rip a Phoenix here... Oh, wait. There's probably Phoenixes in our graveyard, right? Yeah, that's great for us, actually. He should be very dead. Because returning Phoenix counts as playing it, right? Play this for free? Yeah, and this says... Yeah, so he's just, like, super dead. 2, 3, 4, 5. Milling is not so good against the Phoenix deck. I almost double scorched his Azure Fate there, and then I was like, wait a minute. I think Milling is good for us. I think I'm just hitting submit. Visage is good with Maw as well. Yeah, jeez. I might try Maw instead. Obviously, we're playing through this gauntlet, but Maw is I'm going to write down as a card that we need to try at some point. Yeah, you play Maw on 3 after parry. I definitely agree. Oh, jeez. Oh, jeez. This hand's really good with some shards, right? I want to keep it. I'm greedy. I'm greedy. This hand needs like... Oh, yeah, just give me some shots. Give me some shots! That's fair. Never didn't have it. So, unfortunately, this 2-2 speed doesn't attack into his 3-1 lethal very well. We've actually had a pretty long stream today. We've been going for almost 5 hours. I'm not sure why it's not... Oh, MTG bot's on mod only mode because we're streaming Hex. This is gonna be our last match of the night of Mortal Echoes. We're gonna stream tomorrow afternoon. Is gonna be a Hex day though. So what do we need? A burn, a scorch, or a shard? If we draw a burn or a scorch here, we get to deploy both these phoenixes. So burn plus scorch means I can play 1 phoenix. So I'm going to kill off his lethal threat here. I think this block was free for him here. I'm not sure why he didn't take it. This is an extinction, I assume. Oh wait, so these things like snowball? So like the second 5+ drop thing I play makes 2 visages? Because there's 2 of these in play right now? This card's better than I thought it was. All these periwinkles I can't play, you know? Vampire Princess is pretty good. Alright, that at least lets us continue playing. So we get a wild here. Play Periwinkle out. If we can dodge Tarantula eggs for a little bit here. If we like dodge Tarantula eggs and like this lives and we draw a shard. So a lot of things have to go right for us here. But like if everything comes together for us, we don't hit Tarantula eggs, this lives, we draw a shard, we get to play Heroic Outlaw and kill him next turn, I think. I think that math works out. I haven't actually done the math, but I'm assuming that works out. Would not be surprised to see Periwinkle blighted here though, or an Extinction even. Like, we've got so many Tarantula eggs in our decks, like, activate this, cash in Extinction does not seem unreasonable, especially after this attack here. Maybe he just has another Vampire Princess? We need a shard that makes a temporary charge, more specifically. Yeah, this is probably just sweep the board. Yeah, not surprised to see that. So I could activate and play this, and it does 8 to him, but I think I'd rather get Periwinkle into play in the event that he doesn't have a removal spell for this. We can just go ahead and Heroic Outlaw him next turn, or Double Phoenix. Heroic Outlaw kills him, though. So our Heroic Outlaw has speed, and when it enters play, it deals damage to our opponent equal to its power. So that's pretty good for us. No Tarantula? Ugh. That's sad. I think that means the game is over. I guess I could like... I can activate this and Phoenix him and just like hope to burn him out from here. I guess the game's not just over. We can hit him with this. We can hit him with this, and then next turn if he can't kill this and we draw a shard, we can kill him with the Heroic Outlaw plus Phoenix. I need to be more specific. I said he technically didn't kill this here. Alright, alright. Oh wait, this just became free, right? Another Heroic Outlaw? Another Heroic Outlaw. Rats. If I play this and this, I can only block 1, 2, 3 things, then I'm still dead, so no reason to play the Heroic Outlaw and give away information. Yeah, so we had draws there once he attacked us with everything. Just a little bit short. Do I want removal spells for his vampires is a real question. I think I want to cut the Scorches and have vampire removal. Yeah, let's split the difference. He's probably only on princesses. Usually that deck doesn't play Vampire King. I guess I could also board in Crackling Bolt. Yeah, that seems okay. I guess Burn's also not stellar in this matchup. Like, it's good at reducing... I didn't get to save. It's good at... Actually, I didn't think about that. I should have boarded in all the Crackling Bolts against the Exarch of the Egg deck. That was a small mistake on my part. Exarch of the Egg's really annoying. This is a 3 toughness with lethal. I should have just boarded in all the Crackling Bolts for the Princesses and the Exarch, so I reserved poorly this match for sure. I'm going to keep this. It's not super aggressive, but we don't have a ton of 1-drops in this deck. We do a Shard of Savagery here on 1, get Wild, play Mentor on 2. Excellent. Found our Shard right away. Alright, we're going to get a hit in with this next turn, which is sweet. The sweet thing about this card, I really want to cast an empowered version of this while we have Periwinkle out. That sounds really hot. So I was going to lead on Periwinkle here, but I kind of want to play the Pyretic Performer now, so that way if I draw a Shard, I can play the Phoenix next turn. Oh, I can use it regardless because of that. I'm going to play the Periwinkle. See how this goes. If he plays like Vampire Princess here, we can Crackling Bolt it. Actually, probably Vine Lash a Vampire Princess. What does Empower do? Empower doubles every number on this card. So it turns his cost into a 6, but then this becomes a 6/2, and it makes 2 Scorches instead of just 1. So he must have counter magic here, I feel like, is what he's representing. Gastral. I think we just go ahead and attack for 3 here. He could have a kill, I suppose. Oh man, his deck has Visage in it. Yeah. Wow, he has a kill. Okay. Yeah, it's a really sweet mechanic. It's like a kicker on crack, basically. Huh. Do I want to play into Extinction? Yeah, I think I do. I think the fact that he spent a kill means he probably doesn't have Extinction. So I'm going to play Gastral out, and I'm going to play Pyretic Performer out here. And if he has an Extinction here, he's really only getting like a 1.5 for 1, because Mentor is going to replace itself by transforming into an Oakenhenge Ceremony if he wraths the board here. So it's not stellar for us if he sweeps the board, but we're not just dead if he does either. If he just like plays out blockers here, we have Crackling Bolts and Vine Lash and Scorch to like punch damage through, and we're gonna punch hard because Gastral gets bigger when we play Ruby cards. Yeah, like Fentio's not great here. We just get to Crackling Bolt plus Scorch this guy and then hit him for 3, 7, 8, 9. Oh, that's sad. Do I want to burn the Scorch and then not be able to play these Phoenixes is the real question. Yeah, I think that's worthwhile. You're one resource short, unfortunately, of playing out these Phoenixes. I think clearing that and pushing damage is more important. Oh, Scorch the Mentor. Oh, geez, that was lethal, right? Wow, I completely missed that. Good line, Seto. Oh, that's a nuts line. Yeah, if I would have scorched the mentor, it would have become a 1 cost. Wow, he would have died. Yeah, I could have. Yeah, so I missed lethal that turn. I could have crackling bolted him, scorched the mentor, gotten an Oakenhenge ceremony, and then played both phoenixes out and like cracked in with double phoenix plus Gastrol. Like that line's insane. God, wow, I can't believe I missed that. Now we just got these phoenixes rotting in our hand. Well, that's good for us at least. Scorch. Scorch. I think I boarded out the scorches, actually. I'm going to kill this because... And then I'm going to ship in with the mentor. I think I ship in with the gas troll too, actually, right? Because he has to block with more than just the Sonnet because it crushes. Has to block both of these, and then this turns into a Oakenhenge ceremony, which then lets me play a Sun Soul Phoenix post-combat. Yep. Do I have 6 in here? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I feel like I'm supposed to trade these because I don't want him to start gaining life. Like, we rip any action, we can bring this back. I don't want him to, like, rip a kill or a Vampire Kiss or something and then start hitting us with this after he kills this off. He's still dead to 1 Phoenix hit here with this life total, so that's fine. I guess this is worse if we draw exactly burn. We'll hold on to burn, obviously, because if we draw another burn, or if we draw, don't forget the outlaw play. What's the outlaw play? Also the outlaw, yep. So if we draw a shard that makes a temporary charge, this just kills him. Vine Lash that we can't cast. Oh wait, crap. Crap, I'm a big dumb stupid. Who's a big dumb stupid? Jeff is. We've got 1, 2, 3, 4. I even counted it. I even counted that we had Infamous Dio. I counted that we had 5 in the crypt. I'm a big dumb stupid. Yeah, just this is the last game. I'm gonna go to bed and we'll play tomorrow afternoon while I'm awake, and just shh. You all made me do this. You made me keep playing. Sato had this sweet idea based on the deck he saw, and then, yeah, this is not my fault. Oh, I suppose I probably should have just played the Heroic Outlaw there. There's been a lot of punts today. Thankfully, it looks like we are going to overcome all of them. Tried really hard to lose this match. But thankfully this deck was sweet and wouldn't let us. Thanks to my opponent for queuing in. I'm going to go ahead and call it a night. Thanks for hanging out. If you missed any of this stream or any of my other streams, there's a YouTube link below the stream. Thank you again to all of my resubs, and welcome to all of the new followers. I appreciate your support. I'll be back tomorrow afternoon, or I guess it's technically today, in 12 hours is when I normally start. So right about 1 p.m. Central Standard Time, I will be online. Have a good night, folks. Thanks for hanging out here tonight.